I accidentally pressed stop recording. You missed nothing. I'm going to lead off with Duress. Plan out what our approach is here. And this looks like Grixis Eldrazi. So there's a Heathen Crawler, 4 knots here, Mountain, Swiftwater Cliffs, and 2 Roasts. I guess this kind of protects a Kalitas. I wonder why this deck doesn't run Roast actually. But this isn't a great way to start. So he's going to go into Heathen Crawler. So next turn, well, his last land is Swiftwater Cliffs, unless he's drawn another one. So he can't play Fort Knot just yet. So we have to play this tapped Smouldering Marsh. If he doesn't play Fort Knot this turn, this is actually quite good because we can untap and have Grasp of Darkness up, so we can kill it with the trigger on the stack. Yep, so there is Swiftwater Cliffs. So his hand is 2 unknowns, Fort Knot, Seer, and Roast. The land situation could be better. So our opponent's going to untap, play a Fort Knot, Seer. We'll kill it with the trigger on the stack. I assume our opponent's either going to take Dig Through Time. Might take Painful Cruise. Okay, so we found our third land, and this can get a Sunken Hollow. So he might take Painful Cruise because it can kind of get us out of our land jam. He might takes Void Shatter. That's interesting. So why would he take Void Shatter? Because we're at least 2 lands away from it, so there's something he doesn't want countered. Because personally I kind of feel like if you were going to take something there, like either he thinks he can finish the game quickly with something that doesn't get killed by Radiant Flames, but I would probably take Painful Cruise or Dig. Oh, Reality Smasher. Oh, Drown of Hope. That's not great. Sunken Hollow. Okay, another land. So, it's got a 5/5 threat. We could Radiant Flames here because it takes out a Heathen Crawler in case he has another one. It also takes out 2 Scions. We could play Kalitas, but he's just going to get tapped down. We could Painful Cruise for free to take us up to 8 cards, but we're going to have to discard and we won't be able to do anything this turn. We could Jace, but that's just going to get roasted. I think we Radiant Flames to buy some time. Or actually, do we play Kalitas now? Because that might get roasted. The turn after, we Radiant Flames then. But then we would have gone to 14, we would have gone to 9, which puts us in like, this deck's going to have a Reality Smasher in it, pretty much. Could Painful Cruise now, but that's going to put us down to 16, and again we take 9. We need to find a way to deal with the Drowner, really. Let's Radiant Flames. Because then it takes away one of the most scary aspects of the ground, which is just whatever we play he'll tap down. Foundry of the Consoles was not an ideal draw from him. Yes, he just activates Fumarole. So we're taking 9 this turn. And if we crack a fetch, that's going to put us down to lethal next turn. Let's get another mountain. Because if we draw any other land, I want to play it untapped, because then we can do something like... actually doesn't matter too much, does it? So we play Kalitas, he roasts, if he has another land he has enough mana to activate Fume Roll and we die. But that seems like the best option. Because he either roasts and bashes for 4. And this feels like it just gives us most of the options to win. Okay, so he has a tapped land, so he's not going to kill us this turn. There's the roast. Let's dig. Chandra, Kalitas, dig through time. No, this really does anything at the moment, does it? I think we take Kalitas. I think we take Clash of Wills. Or Caligan's Command. Let's take Caligan's Command. So, the thing is that I'm dead here. It's whether our opponent realises it. Because if he just activates Fume Roll and attacks with both. But he might not see the line. It's possible that we have something like a Fiery Impulse, but you would still go for it here. Yep. Okay, blue-red Eldrazi. Dragonlord Silumgar tends to be slowish but decent against them, I'd imagine. Void Shatter seems fine. Radiant Flame seems like it could be good. Grasp seems like it's fine. The rest doesn't seem amazing, whereas Ruinous Path does. Languish seems okay. Transgress will get rid of his bigger threats, like the Reality Smashers and the Drowners. Caligan's Command seems fairly weak. Dispel doesn't really... there's nothing I really saw that hit it. Anticipates are fine, Jaces are fine, Grasps are fine. Radiant Flames... Clash of Wills... It's not great against Scions, but it still seems okay. Is Dragonlord Silumgar that good? I mean, it can take something like a Drowner. Or a Fortnot Seer, or a Reality Smasher. Might be too slow. The grasps seem okay. Probably don't need 2 challenges either, actually. Although this is lowering us down on win cons. Just down to 3 Kalitas and a Flamecaller and Tasigur. We don't have any Caligan's Recursion at that point. So we don't want to take out that. The rest only hits Roast, which you might not keep in. Yeah, let's keep it like this. This hand seems decent. So the question is whether we fetch into basics so everything else comes in untapped. And the other question is, okay, well that kind of answers that question. I think we go for Jace, because if we get the unanswered Jace, we've already got 2 fetch lands in the bin. So we'll be pretty close to flipping. Question of whether he keeps roasting or not. He might do. Hangerbacks. Let's keep this like this. We can Clash your Wills for 2, which should be able to deal with most things he plays here. And if he doesn't do anything, then we can just anticipate. So he's definitely playing something, otherwise there's no point attacking it with Hangerback. That's a Reshaper. That's an... well, he probably doesn't have a Roast, because if you had Roast here, you'd kill Jace, because he's flipping next turn. Which kind of also makes the Matter Reshaper kind of relevant. And Concedes kind of counters the Matter Reshaper as well, so we could probably save Clash of Wills for something a bit more dangerous. What do we want to discard here? Don't really want to discard any of this. Let's get rid of... Well, next turn we actually don't have a third land, so we might play Tasker. Might want to anticipate to find that. It's probably not dig through time. Might actually be Painful Cruise. Yeah, because we want to anticipate now. That could be completely wrong. Well, it's a draw free. Actually, yeah, let's get rid of Painful Cruise because we can always flash it back with Jace. That's third land, fourth land even. So let's take the Delta. Probably don't need that Delta. Jace flips. Let's crack that fetch, gets another Smouldering Marsh. In fact, I'm actually gonna Tassiger here. Which may seem a bit crazy with Dig, but we're gonna have fuel for it, because this way we get to keep up Clash of Wills as well. Like Clash of Wills for 2 is going to deal with a lot of its trickier things, I think. If we can start activating Tasker, we can start churning things around. Another Matter Reshaper. Kind of fine with that as well. Bloodstained Mire. Let's just kind of do this for now. We can end of turn Tassiger Mill. Yep, takes that up. Hangerback could be a bit of a problem, but it's kind of kept in check for a while. We also do have ways around it, like the Radiant Flames and the Languish. Third Matter Reshaper. At which point does this start actually becoming a bit of a problem for us? I still think it's fine. Opponent is not eager to attack. Opponent also only has one red up. I can't think of what one red can do here. It's really annoying. So what do we get? Challenger, Painful Cruise, Anticipate. Not bad. Probably gives us... None of these are particularly great for him to give us back. Anticipate allows us to play the draw go game a bit more. Okay. We've got 2 Clash of Wills now. Clash of Wills for 1 could be enough here. So let's play out a Kalitas. It still really feels like he doesn't have something like a roast, because I feel like he would have roasted the Jace, and he probably would have roasted the Tassiger, because he could just beat throwing Jace. So he would have to draw it here. And if he does draw it, he can pay for a Clash of Wills for 1. And Clash of Wills for 1 would get like a pre-combat. Okay, that was not what I was expecting. The Matter Reshapers coming in. Kargan's command seems to have more targets there, doesn't it? And Hangerbacks too. It makes me want to bring these in a bit more. Ruinous Path might be a bit too slow. Grasp of Darkness deals with most of his things. I kind of want Ruinous Path in... Well, Murderous Cut kind of fills that same role as killing things like Drown of Hope or a Reality Smasher. Opponent appeared to take Roasts out. Dragonlord, yeah, so he actually is quite low on removal. Dragonlord Silumgar might be quite good here, and it might be just like Challenger is a bit weak. Bringing our Wrath effects here. Clash of Wills seems fine, Transgress seems fine. We're going to be on the draw, so Jace, we might want to drop a Jace. I want to drop, what might we not want on the draw? Actually, possibly a Void Shatter, it's double blue. And on the draw it could just be a little too slow. If he's already playing his Matter Reshapers and whatnot, it's probably a little slow. Let's try this. That's the problem when you've not played a control deck for the first time. You really need to play the matchups quite a bit to kind of know what you're doing. This seems okay. We have all our land. We have a Clash of Wills, a Kalitas and a Murderous Cut. Certainly seen worse hands. Swiftwater Cliffs. Fumarole. So next turn we probably go Flooded Strand for blue. So he's already on 4 mana. Matter Reshaper, that's okay. Let's just get basic island. That's probably quite enough lands. Take 3 here. Fetch up a basic swamp, and then all our battle lands are online. Does appear like our opponent is definitely playing around Clash of Wills. Ugh, Eldrazi Sky Spawner. That's not great. It gives him more mana to pay around Clash of Wills, and it's also just an annoying threat. I would really like to find a language or something. I think we just have to play Kalitas out here. Like, he's out of Clash of Wills range pretty quickly. I know Clash of Wills is better than Void Shatter at the moment. Sorry, maybe Void Shatter is better than Clash of Wills purely because he does have things that do generate Eldrazi spawn. Might not be the best thing for us. Let's start playing Fetch Lands out so we can start fueling our graveyard. We've got a Grasp of Darkness now, so which could be good. We might have to use it on that Sky Spawner, which could be unfortunate. Because he's going to start making tokens. In fact, I think we let's just kill the Sky Spawner now. Dispel. Don't really want to burn the Murderous Cut too. But if it's going to use him up on counter spells, we might have to. Just delve away the whole graveyard, because this allows us to keep up Clash of Wills for a fair bit. So we exile that, we take 2... Do we start getting him with Kalitas? That's the question. 2... Hang back. Yep, that gets around the Clash of Wills. Let's play Sunken Hollow. Okay. So if we were to attack with Kalitas, he can put a bunch of stuff in front of it. We could gain, if we would sacrifice this, we'd gain 5, 15. He can swing back for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We also get to transgress what his next threat would be. Yeah, let's do it. He could also just block with the Scion here as well. Yeah, so he can sacrifice it in response, he doesn't, so we don't get lifelink. He can also do that. But Kalitas isn't really blocking anything at the moment. Okay, so his last card is going to be Hangback Walker. I'm kind of surprised he sacks the Scion there, because if he doesn't sack the Scion, he's got mana to play a Drowner, and Drowner just closes out the game. I mean, would have been able to counter Drowner, but if he gets greedy with his Hangback and doesn't play around Clash of Wills, then hey. Can he pay 3 mana for this? Can't, but we can make Kalita survive. Our opponent really likes conceding early, doesn't he? There was no reason to concede there. Like, if you ever draw another Drowner of Hope, Kalitas doesn't become a threat anymore. Yeah, our opponent conceded 2 games super early there. Which I can't say I'm too sad about, because we're in a league. That's 20 tickets, 20 play points in the bag. As we try and jam another one in quickly. I keep feeling like I'm going to sneeze and muting the mic. I'll play first, just because you like to put on the draw, but you never really know with these decks. There's some decks that are very quick and you just don't want to give them impetus. This hand... If this was a more like strict draw go-y deck, I probably would actually keep this. But on the play, it seems a bit loose. This doesn't seem fantastic, but it's got a Clash of Wills, it's got Anticipate, 2 fetch lands to fuel a Tasiga. We're a ways away from Challenger, but I've seen worse keeps. Opponent is in the tank. So I mean, this is a hand that can go wrong. And is always one of those really annoying things where you're going to have to fire off a turn to anticipate, and probably no matter how good the cards are that you get from it, you're probably going to have to take the land. There are very few exceptions I would make to that. Possibly if I draw another land and one of the anticipate cards is Painful Truths. But our opponent is just clearly got a very difficult decision here. Or they've just forgotten that they're playing Magic. Or they're narcoleptic. Could be any of the above. Or I could have lost connection. I always forget what the way to test that is. So am I monitoring this? What's the chat room's got the most people on it? Yeah, Meko doesn't have the best way of ever letting you know if you're offline. Yep. Well, my computer says I'm online. So I guess my opponent's just in the tank a lot. Let's have a look at the deck. So, possible changes I've seen before this is, I'm not convinced by Void Shatter. I actually quite like Clash of Wills, although there's There are some matchups where it kind of gets a little too slow. Radiant Flames mainboard's interesting. 4 grass I agree with. Kolaghan's Command, I don't know. I've seen decks run the third challenger over Tasiga, but Tasiga can be like such a house early on. It's also something that even into the mid and late game can just, you know, Sylvan Advocates and whatnot ping off it. The problem with like both, I mean, the other thing about Kalatas is even if you get like one trigger off him, he suddenly gets out of roast range as you saw in the last game. Opponent kept his hand after all that. We should also keep, we scry. Painful Cruise. Painful Cruise I think you keep. Just because if you find another land, that will get us out of this quick, because we can go... Well, we don't have to fetch yet, because we're not going to fetch now, because obviously we just put Painful Cruise on top. But if we like manage to put ourselves in a position where we can turn 3 Painful Cruise, it's pretty good. Opponent starting Delta into Smouldering Marsh. So this could be the mirror. Could be any number of things. Unfortunately, like what land people start off on in Standard at the moment doesn't really give you any indication. They could just be using the fetch land to splash. That's a Flooded Strand, so this could be the Jeskai Dragons deck. Maybe not. Jace, Fringe Prodigy. What do we need? We need black more than anything here. So instead of anticipating, I think because we don't really have a way to deal with that particularly now, I'm just going to Clash of Wills that for 1. If we're playing a control mirror, we do not want to have a Jace get out of hand. It's a surefire way to lose. We're going to anticipate now, because if we can hit our land drop, we should. And we do. The other cards are a consideration because hitting the third land is much more important here. It allows us to Tasiga next turn, possibly. If we were very lucky to draw another land, like a Smouldering Marsh or a Sunken Hollow, it would actually allow us to potentially... Actually, if we drew a fetch land, that would allow us to go Tasiga into Painful Cruise, which as far as turn 4s go, pretty good. This is looking more and more like Mirror. Transgress, that's probably... Ooh, that's an interesting choice for our opponent. It's got to be either Tasiga or Painful Cruise. Probably Painful Cruise, because he knows I can hit it next turn. And I think you don't want to let your opponent draw free. Yeah, that's fair. I do kind of wish this deck did have Transgress mainboard. And yeah, we would have been able to do all that shenanigans. Our opponent knows we're not going to have anything up, so there's no point reducing our graveyard any larger than it needs to be. Opponent could have a Murderous Cut or a Ruinous Path or Roast, and if they do, they do. Yeah, losing that Painful Truth sucks, but I mean, Transgress is a very powerful card because the exiling is not insignificant. In a world full of Jaces and company. Okay, white. This could be Jeskai Dragons. It could also be Dark Jeskai, and just a more controlling version of it. Like if we see a Mantis Rider here, we'll know. I'm trying to think. So, what could be potentially problematic for us if he's got white is Dragon Lord Ojutai. We don't particularly have any fantastic responses to it. I say that as someone who has got a Grasp of Darkness in hand. Okay, so there goes Tasiga. That's the other problem with white, is sacrificing is pretty good against us. The question is, how many ways does it have to deal with Planeswalkers? If we can stick it. Okay, Void Shatter was a pretty good draw there. Allows us to hold up a way of dealing with a big threat. Although, if he plays a land, we are then behind in the land race. One of the more interesting aspects of control mirrors is generally the person with the most land is tends to be in a bit of a better position. once you're able to do 2 things a turn, or 1 thing and hold up counterspell, things get a little difficult. It's probably why this deck has probably got 26 lands. That's kind of light. I guess the other aspect is like, the other aspect to, because at the moment we're playing red for Challenger and Kolaghan's Command. And then I did sneeze. Because playing this for Radiant Flames and Kolaghan's Command, and Challenger's the main payoff. But similarly, you do wonder, what if you played Esper? Because you lose Wandering Fumarole, but you gain Shambling Vent, which I think is better, and you also probably could replace all this stuff with like Gideons and Silk Wraps. Opponent, no land, pass turn. Okay. Opponent has paused on our upkeep. This could be the upkeep Kolaghan's Command. Probably, it's the only reason I can think he would have a stop on our upkeep for is if you're going to upkeep Kolaghan's Command someone, make them discard, probably return Jace. And the way he tapped his mana last time, well, he kind of had to tap it like that, but he did leave up single blue. And we're running a single mainboard Dispel, so it's not impossible to consider that he would also be running a mainboard Dispel. Our opponent's already taken a couple long breaks, which is probably not what you want to do in a control mirror, because they tend to go long. I'm sure everyone remembers me when I started playing at BAM, and I was playing firstly that weird Planeswalker control deck, and then the Esper Dragons deck with blue-black control in there somewhere as well. That I tend to go to time in these matchups. Also got a good record of winning in time. Drew Dispel. That's pretty neat. So now we've got Void Shatter with Dispel backup. I'm not letting you have Kalitas, I'm afraid. So shields down from our opponent, if we can stick something here. And I'm actually going to dig now, because this is a control mirror and resolving a dig is quite big. It puts our shields down, but that's necessary, I think. Okay, so we're definitely taking the land for one, because we need to hit our land drops. Jace is also a possibility, although here our opponent would have plenty of time to kill him. Grasp of Darkness is possible. Anticipate to find the 6th land for another Challenger. It also gives us something to do on our turn. The second dig isn't as appetizing when we're effectively 4 mana away from it. This makes it effective 2. But I think we just want to keep some card flow going, so let's take Anticipate as well. And the order we put him in does not matter because we're fetching next turn. So he could land a Kalitas here, but again we can grasp with that and we've got a Dispel for any counter he offers. And our plan at the moment is we want to get into a position where we can resolve Challenger. And preferably if we can resolve Challenger with Dispel backup or possibly Void Shatter backup. Because the only way I know that these decks have to deal with this is beating through with creatures, which is not particularly likely from a control deck. We've also got the Fumarole to defend. That's another reason to get more lands, as we can start activating Fumarole. And probably keep it a 1/4 for a while. Very possible this deck has Kolaghan's Command. Very possible it's got Fiery Impulse too. And this is the advantage sometimes which different removal suites can have. Like Fiery Impulse would be pretty bad in this matchup for him. It only kills Jace. Whereas Grasp of Darkness would stay alive for us against a Kalitas, against a Dragonlord Ojutai. And this card is what's made Control very much a lot better, because it's just a very cheap answer to anything. Prowess Swift Spears, Prowess Kerrigal Keeps, Anafenza in particular. Anafenza was always a tricky one to deal with, because generally your best way as a control deck to deal with it was something like Silk Wrap. And then they had Kolaghan's, Jamoka's Command. Opponent remains on 4 lands. At which point you have to wonder... He's still got this upkeep stop set. I don't know if he had that at the start. It makes me do think he will consider some upkeep shenanigans with Colligan's Command. In which case, I don't know what we'd ditch at this point. So he's stuck on 4 lands, so there's possibilities here, which is he's got counter spells, or he's got a bunch of nothing, which either like doesn't... Well, a bunch of nothing. He's got stuff like removal, or stuff that costs more than 4. Okay, Bloodstain Mire. Pass the turn. I really wish this deck had more main deck removal. It might main deck discard. It might be better for Anticipates. It's difficult. I've not played deck enough to learn, but like I know this is an obvious thing to say, but it's just so much easier and much more comforting to play a control deck with the knowledge that you've got something like you've got discard, because if you know what the hand is, it allows you to plan out your game so much better. He's going to play a Jace. I'm going to crack a fetch land, see if you get any response to that. He's F6'd. We've only got 1 red source, let's go Smouldering Marsh. Let's try and Grasp of Darkness this. We've got Dispel back up, so... Yep, it's dead. And then let's Anticipate with Dispel up. Painful Clues, good draw. That's better than 2 lands here, because we've got our 6th land now. And this is a draw free now, and we've got ways to protect it. So I much prefer this. Blue, black. I'm not activating this, so red. Free lands. Pass the turn. Not the best draw free, but they're off the top of our deck. And again, as a control deck, generally you want as many lands as possible. It's not a bad thing. He does get through Dig here. We can only Clash of Wills for 2. Oh wait, we've got Dispel. And he's not left blue up, so... Our opponent appears to be goozled a bit on lands, so we need to try and punish. The fact that he has not left blue up. And this is interesting, yeah, okay, yeah, so he did his main phase, so he knows we're going to slam a Challenger, and then he probably doesn't have that many ways to deal with it. Control Mirror. A card like this can be handy. It depends on what his win cons are, but you can kind of strip the win cons. Let's see what comes out first. Radiant Flames comes out. Colligan's Command, possibly. Murderous Cuts, you just like to have the like solid just kill you removal. Probably don't need all the grasps. Ruinous Path will deal with is also just a straight up removal spell. It's also going to deal with a flipped Planeswalker or a Challenger. Transgressors definitely come in. Duress definitely, and we definitely want the other Duress. Disdainful Stroke maybe a little slow. We'll hit Kalitas, we'll hit Dig Through Time. But we'll see about that. I think I want a second Dispel. I think I want the Negate. Negate, my favourite. Negate and Dispel are both my favourite cards in Control Mirrors. Clash of Wills, you can get to a point where everyone's just going to wait it out, and once your opponent knows that you're playing Clash of Wills, it's much easier to just kind of sit and tick it out. The Anticipate's kind of good here, Jaces are good here. Especially if it forces him to keep in his weaker removal. Or what is with people just conceding today? 1-0 win off the back of the fact that opponents just don't want to play against us. This also, believe it or not, does actually happen on Magic Online a fair bit. If you play Control, people just do not want to play. I wonder what version of Control his deck was, because it looked like our deck, but with white. And I'm pretty sure we don't have any white sources. No, we've got Flurry Strands, but he got like a Prairie Stream. I mean, it could be. We'll chalk it up to 4 colour Control for now. But unfortunately I need to go do other things very briefly. But, you know, 2-0 start, 1 more win, you get the refund, 2 more wins and we're in profit. Just trying to So there are enough tickets for a Mox entry. Partially because the Mox is probably one of the better shots you get at the Pro Tour because the tournament's so small, and partially because it's probably a hell of a learning experience because like the Moxes these days, because the prizes are so good, absolutely stacked with pro players, and you'll learn a lot there. So far, this deck, I mean, God, I've always sounded more enthusiastic when I've been playing other decks. It's just, you know me, I love to play control. I love to think through the lines. I love to think through the decisions. Initial thoughts is probably, I'm not sure if we need these Colligan's commands. They're the thing is, okay, they're good in grindy matchups, but randomly making your opponent discard isn't that great, and you don't do it that often. Dealing 2 damage to a creature or player. Here's a problem I've had with this, and this is why Fiery Impulse has kind of taken over from Wild Slash. Sylvan Advocate, Reflector Mage, Catacomb Sifter, and so on and so on and so on. 3 is like the magic number for toughness at the moment. Like, if you can have 3, have 3. I'll probably bring these out for Transgress the Mind, because Transgress the Mind is pretty good. It's possible this deck needs more counter spells as well. I mean, that's one thing I would prefer in Esper, by taking an Esper approach, is that you get to run a normal suite of counter spells, and when you get 4 Citadel Guard scored. Like, card is just insane. We'll see. So 2-0, good start. Won't be too sad about that.